host. Today we have Andrew Gadomski. He is the Managing Director for Aspen Analytics, and we are so very excited to have you. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you, Stacy. It's my pleasure to be here, and I'm really excited to be on the show.
Thank you. You came highly recommended to us by Derek Zeller and just, all the people in the industry. You've been doing so many great things. It is our honor to have you on the show.
Thank you.
You, as Managing Director of Aspen Analytics, you have your hands in so many cool projects. Before we get to that, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, ZipRecruiter, HackerEarth, and LinkedIn. Thank you very much for sponsoring the Tech Recruit podcast and conference. Andrew, back to you. Okay. So you are the Managing Director. Now, is Aspen Analytics your company? Did you found this company?
I founded the company in 2006, so we're coming up on our 14th year, and we've had to move and shake and change a bit during that time, but it's always been a business that's about using data to help a business become better, faster, cheaper at employment.
So what are some of the catalysts that you might come into a situation with working with a client?
There's a couple of different categories, but let me see if I can bucket into one, two, or three. So one that we get a lot is we're not sure if we're doing it right. As odd as that may sound, right? Is okay, we've been doing things a certain way for a certain period of time. We know that we're okay at it, but we're not quite sure where to start, or we're not quite sure if what we're doing is as effective as it could be. And most of the businesses that we deal with, they're usually executing over 10,000 hires a year. So for them, they're already, spending $12 million, $13 million just on the cost of staffing, cost of recruiting. In addition to that, they might be spending several million or tens of millions in relocating, and then several million in immigration. So they're already spending a lot of money. So for them, they're just like, get in here and investigate. Really just step back, look at how we process things. What could we be doing to be more efficient? Where is there waste? Where can we be better in terms of training, process, technology? And on top of that, there usually is by the way, Andrew, we're not quite sure if we're retaining the people as we should. Maybe, right? So recruiting and retention are very tight, especially in a large scale business. I might have a business that is in the, let's just say they're in the hospitality industry. Their non-exempt population, I mean, the hourly workers, they might be turning at 130% a year, right? So, what's the cost of the business? What if they were to, instead of someone just being I don't know, if they were working in a kitchen at a hotel, but they turn that job 4 times in a year, right? That's 3 more times that the managers have to do interviews, that they have to go through background checks, that they have to do all those things. And at thousands of hires a year, all of a sudden you start realizing, well, what business are our managers in? Are our back of house managers really in the recruiting business? Or are they in the make the food taste great business? Are they in the take care of the customer business? And I'm pretty sure they're in those businesses, right?
Versus hiring all the time.
So a lot of the times we know we execute okay, but we want to really get better because we know that our managers are probably doing too much of this work. So that's one type of catalyst. The other type tends to be cost oriented. So a company might say, Andrew, we're spending $20 million a year on recruiting our teams. We're not quite sure if that juice is worth the squeeze, right? Can you make it faster? Can you make it better? Can you make it cheaper? That's always a push. That usually happens pre-IPO. So a couple of times it happens. Pre-IPO, pre-merger or post-merger, right? So we've done a lot of work over the years, like we're two banks, but like a bank buys another bank. We're right there in the transformation where they're combining two applicant tracking systems, two recruitment marketing systems, different assessments, all of that. Now, all of a sudden, they weren't hiring 10,000 tellers a year. They're hiring 25,000, right? But across multiple systems. They've got 150 recruiters. How are we going to change that? Okay, that's one of ours. That's one of the special. And of course, what you've got is, I don't have one ATS, I've got two, and I've got two HRISs. I've got two sets of platforms for Facebook and all this other stuff. So you can appreciate how when we take in all the data and we analyze it all, and then we take the two general ledgers of cost, we pull it all together, and then we say, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Right? That's I think that the event-based work is a lot of our work, the cost-based. And then the fourth one, I think, is we do a lot of government work, or we work with companies that are regulated. So they're regulated by the SEC or GDPR or something like that. And they tend to have questions around compliance and behavior. You know, Andrew, are we doing it fair? Right? Are we doing it well? You know, we don't want to get, you know, nobody wants to get caught in an audit and have to pay a fine. Especially if I can come in with my team for a month, sniff around, and then say, change this, and this, document it, you'll be good for the year. You have to appreciate that the spectrum of the work in analytics, in talent, has changed a lot in the last decade to where it's now about, can we be better? Can we be faster? Can we be cheaper? Right? But everybody needs proof.
We talked a little bit about your career path. We talked about the catalysts for companies using services such as Aspen Analytics and process, that logistics, like being able to streamline it, reduce cost. Beautiful. Right. And then looking at the technologies that they're utilizing, make sure that they're getting the most of those. And then the data merge, like that, that is just can be an awful monster of a project for any company. I've moved ATSs before, and I've just thought, it almost inhibits you from being able to go forward because you just don't want to manage that data. That's huge. And then like you said, the legal testimonials for the bias, because a lot of that has been happening lately. You're going to be speaking at Midwest Tech Recruit.
I'll be speaking at Midwest Tech Recruit. I'm going to do a workshop on 12 different ways you can make data visualization and recruiting great.
What can those who are attending that workshop expect to learn, or what will they see?
Well, the first thing is what not to do in a PowerPoint or in a presentation when you talk about presenting measures or presenting data, right? So we'll make it real simple. You know, here are things that you can do to look good. Here are things you should definitely not do. And then we'll talk about the things in between.
I love that, because as you were talking earlier, I was thinking you probably, especially at Honeywell, had a presence about you that you can deliver the story and the message behind that data. So I can't think of anybody better to impart that experience to our audience.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Don't worry. I got kicked under the table plenty at Honeywell too for what I would say. Like, Andrew, you can't say that. I'm like, well, too late. It's already in the room.
Okay, very good. Well, if anybody needs to reach out to you, Andrew, how can they find you?
Well, we're on all the social blah, 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 Aspen Analytics. You can also check us out at aspenanalytics.io, 973-349-7787.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Tech Recruit podcast, Andrew. You have yourself a wonderful day.